Spork tilts his head to the side.
I think you're a lot more insightful than I am, Mo. Really? The way you read people is pretty amazing.
Not really. I have to look away from him. His gaze is too earnest. I can only really read people when I try to. But I have a terrible personality, so I get complacent and take things for granted. The whole reason I've stagnated like this is because I've never tried to see through people who I trusted, and their betrayal came as a shock to me. No. Either that or because my being able to do this when I put my mind to it makes me think I've let myself down by letting my guard down. I lean my weight against the wall and close my eyes. Damn. I do still think that it's not good that I take people for granted. That I stop wondering about their thoughts and feelings after I get used to their being around me. For instance, I don't know if I've hurt Shiyu and my parents because I'm like this, even though they've always done their best to support me. But even so, what Kenichi and Natsuko did to me isn't my fault. I'm not responsible for their choices. So there wouldn't have been anything that I had to keep my guard up about if not for what they did.
Yeah.
When I open my eyes, Spork's still watching me.
For the record, Mo, I don't think you have a bad personality or anything. If you weren't the way you are, you wouldn't have saved me. You wouldn't have done so much for me if you weren't responsible. And there's still a lot about you that I don't know, so maybe it's not my place to say, but I think that sometimes you can hurt yourself when you try to take responsibility for others too much.
I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say because he's probably right. I don't know what else to do, so I just make tea. I can think about what Spork said to me later. I can think about what's just occurred to me after this.
I guess I'm just mad at myself.
Apparently, Spork's become more able to move as he slumped against the kitchen table. What do you have to be angry about? I mean, a lot. He just told us our story. There's a lot of things that he's got right to be angry about.
He has every right to be full on 3 cheers for sweet revenge, yeah. Angry at the world, emo, like he could be the punkiest punk to have ever punked right now, and it would all be justifiable.
Yeah. Just like it isn't my fault that people I trusted backstabbed me, it's not like you want people to keep coming after you.
In my case, it's a little different, though. They keep being sent after me, so I should expect it. It's bad enough that I got you involved.
I leave the tea on the kitchen counter and go to his side. Spork doesn't raise his head.
But I really thought that maybe this time, this is far enough away from everything that I could just find a place that could be my own place, and I could settle down and live. I should have known better. I may not know why those people keep chasing after me, but I do know that it doesn't matter whether I'm causing trouble or just minding my own business. They'll keep trying to find me and attacking me. Just because Hokkaido is out of the way, and because this town is small and peaceful, that shouldn't have been any guarantee that they'd leave me alone. And I got excited and got ahead of myself, and now I put you and everybody else in danger. I forgot that just by my being here, I've risked making this place into a battleground.
That isn't your fault either.
No, but it doesn't matter. Even though I never asked for any of this, suddenly he's Adam Jensen. Even though I never asked for any of this, that doesn't change what my being here means. I can't stay here. I can't do that to you and to Shiu and everybody else.
But... Oh, that's you. Sorry.
But...
Spork pushes himself up. His face is hidden by his hair. But I can tell by the sound of his voice that whatever expression he's wearing must be...
But I don't want to leave.
It's more like he's grieving than he's complaining. He's not a little kid digging his heels in because he knows that this is unfair. Spork says he's much younger than me, but he's old enough to know that some battles are hopeless. And that this kind of unfairness, this kind of injustice isn't something that he can fight. So when he says this, he's saying it because he's given up. Spork hides his face against the front of my hoodie. Both of his hands come up and clench at the hem. He's got such big hands. And I know that no matter how gentle they can be when handling flowers, they have the same killing strength as his red doppelgangers. But his grip as he holds onto my shirt is half-hearted and weak. I put my hand on his head.
That's his back.
Yes. His hair's soft. His body temperature's higher than mine, and he feels almost feverish under my palm. Considering my actions too much in light of Spork's stature will make this feel weird, but why should I overthink it when I just did it because it feels like the natural thing to do? See? Spork's shoulders are shaking. This guy, this overgrown kid who's never been around other people for long enough to have it ingrained in him that it's shameful to show anybody else your tears, is crying from frustration into my shirt.
I don't want to leave. Even if it was stupid, even if I should have known better, I still wanted this to be my home so much.
I don't lift my hand off Spork's hair or try to move away. But while he's not looking at my face, I stare around the dark kitchen. This house with its pitiful lack of decoration, where the working utilities seem like there's some kind of miracle. This weird, out-of-place, Western-style house with its big fancy gardens that doesn't match its interior. It's funny that I don't even have to search for the words. Hey, Spork. You know, even if you feel like you have no choice but to leave, nobody ever said this has to stop being your home.
Huh?
Even if you have to go away, that's not going to change how you legally own this property. Having to leave for right now doesn't mean that you'll never be able to come back. You never know if one day this whole issue will be solved in a way to make these people stop chasing you. If that happens, then you'll be free to come back here and do whatever you want. As long as you have the money, you can make sure the utilities still work, and if you don't, you can work something out with the people in charge of this area. And when it comes to things like looking after the garden and cleaning the house, well, I'm here, aren't I? You've already given me permission to use this garden as part of my portfolio, and so I've got a vested interest in keeping it healthy. Right. I don't mind doing...
That just seems an odd thing to throw in there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to be supportful, but hey, I'll keep your garden alive because it can serve me in the future. Like, come on.
She's not very good with her feelings.
No, she's not.
I don't mind doing house chores, so as long as you're prepared to come back to real furnishings, you can relax and leave that to me. And even though I'll be leaving this town one day, I can leave things to Shiyu then, and she's a lot more responsible than she acts, so she'll probably think of something if she decides to leave the prefecture for college. Even Shiyu will leave someday. She has so many different options, and knowing her, I'm sure she'll be able to make a decision when the time comes. Basically, you can trust us to keep this place maintained for you when you're ready and able to come home, so don't go acting like you have to give it all up forever. You have friends who don't mind shouldering one or two little responsibilities for you now. And you just being here has provided me with some important opportunities, so this is the least I can do in return. Spork raises his head. He looks up at me with wide eyes, like none of this has even occurred to him up until now.
Wow. It's really not a bother or anything.
I'm not grown up enough to suggest something I wouldn't want to do. Spork stares at me in amazement for a moment longer. Then...
Yeah, you really are amazing.
Flattery isn't going to get you anything, you damn kid. Well, it's not like there's much I can do for you besides this. The world you come from and the one I know are so different, I'd probably only make things worse if I decided to stick my nose into things. If there's any one thing I can really teach you, let's see. I guess that'd be showing you how to hit.
Eh?
Spork looks at me blankly as if to protest that he knows how to hit just fine. You said that you've been having more and more trouble in your fights, but I think a big part of your problem isn't isn't just that the other guys, the Garnets or whatever, have been getting updates or are faster and stronger than you. It's that they have knowledge about fighting and tactics that you haven't got. If I were more familiar with the powers you guys have and can do the same things as you, I think I might have been able to win that fight by myself.
Really?
Yeah. When she was bragging about what I can do, she wasn't exaggerating that much. I have a decent amount of confidence in my fighting skills. Spork looks at me with an expression of awe.
I was really surprised when you jumped into that fight. I never thought that you were that strong.
It's less about me.
Oh.
It's less
Sorry.
about me being strong than about me knowing what I'm doing. After all, I'm out of practice, which means I'm probably out of shape. Though I have enough pride that it's not like I'm going to admit that out loud. Anyway, if I teach you some basics, I think you'll be able to hold your own a lot better from here on out. Take your right straight punch. When you hit somebody straight on, your arm shouldn't be moving out in an arch. It's like your fist is a missile that you're shooting straight out from your body. It's faster and it's got more force behind it. If that was hard to understand, just watch. And so, that night that started with so many revelations about Spork and about myself turned into an impromptu martial arts lesson. Regardless of how cringeworthy the lack of decor is, all that open space winds up being a big help while correcting all of Spork's bad stance and execution problems. The lesson lasts until the sun comes up, and I know, despite all the surprises and really ridiculous things I've seen in the past 24 hours, I know that I'm not going to have to struggle to accept it. I know that even after Spork leaves, I'm going to be okay. Epilogue!
Ah!
The air conditioning is a low hum in my ears as I space out. Looking at all the photos and sketches I've collected on the table makes it easy for me to empty my mind. For all that I've told everyone I was moving out here to get used to living on my own while I'm still within a reasonable distance of my parents and can ask for their help, I've mostly been using the space to get things organized in my head while I have the chance. That every photo of Kenichi has a post-it pointing him out as actual garbage and every drawing of him is a 1-minute doodle is an important part of that. They say the only people with no support system are those who don't appreciate theirs ever go to strengths, but I have a newfound appreciation for art therapy. Yep. As for the house...
There you go.
Yeah.
Therapy.
Therapy.
Proper therapy.
As for the house itself, that was me just being self-indulgent. My parents told me to think of Shiu and stop piling up the trinkets since they'd be such a pain for her to dust, but I think they're underestimating her. And if they're not, then it'll just be a lesson for her in diligence, so more's the better. Most of all, I'm looking forward to seeing Spork's face whenever he gets back here. I wonder if he'll doubt for a minute or two that it's really his own house. Even if I do say so myself, this has been an awfully busy 3.5 months. I've had to build up my portfolio quickly in order to apply for the program that Shizue brought to my attention. Apparently, he heard about it from one of his fellow Wind Chimes of the World aficionados. They don't have a group name or anything, I just made that up. For a while, it was a little worrisome whether I'd even make it in time to apply since the school term there starts in fall instead of spring, like in Japan, but I managed to get enough new paintings and design work in time. I'm still not satisfied with any of the portraiture aside from one painting of Shiyu and her siblings, and that quick watercolor sketch of Spork from memory, but those 2 pieces turned out to be more than enough for the requirement. Apparently, the portfolio judges were impressed with everything, but especially with my landscaping work at Spork's house, and, of all things, the snowscape series I painted during the winter, which I collectively titled AD when I learned I had something to call them. AD, short for adjustment disorder, which turns out I was actually diagnosed with. I lost a lot of time over the winter, so I guess it's no wonder I can't remember that. I wonder what the hell all those faraway adults saw in those paintings. If they just mistook my mechanical fixation on winter as studiousness, or if they imagined the paintings as full of emotions instead of my search for my own. Or maybe at least one person on the panel had a similar experience to mine and recognized something in my work. Whichever, I guess it's a good thing that I was so short on recent stuff that I wound up including those things. After that, I spent most of my time studying. My French was okay, but not good, and I didn't know any Italian at all. I'm not the only Japanese student in this program, so it's not like I'm going to have to speak other languages all the time, but when you're living in another country for a long period of time, I get the feeling that you're going to have trouble in your day-to-day life unless you have some knowledge of the national language.
I would assume.
Yeah. This September, 1 month from now, I'm going to be starting art school in Italy. You better learn Italian real fast.
You gotta crunch. That's a language you need to learn, honey.
At a real-life Accademia de Belle Arti. Because the school offers the opportunity to study abroad in France for some terms, I intend to jump on that too. And because of the distance, I'm really only going to come back home for summer vacations. I mean, airfare costs would kill me otherwise. I'm already depending on scholarships a lot as it is. But it's Italy and France. Italy and France! So the inconvenience is worth it. I have months of lost time to make up for, so I have no intention of slowing down. Anyway, after talking to my parents a lot, we decided that I would move into Spork's house as a sort of live-in keeper. In addition to letting me prove my overly worried dad that I can survive on my own and giving me practice before I hop on a plane, it makes life easier for me since I've been looking after his house anyway. I haven't seen or heard from Spork since he left town, just a week after we met. He didn't say anything about where he planned to go, just that he was going far away. That's baffled a lot of people. The manager was sad that she wouldn't be able to wring any more money out of him for one. Even my parents took a while to wrap their heads around the concept that someone I'd known for only a week would trust me enough to lend me his house, and they still seemed to worry about our relationship even though they know me well enough to perceive the lack of romance. She was the only one that seems to fully accept it. I figure it helps that she knows that there was something that made Spork have to leave, even if I can't explain what it was. And it's not as if I could ever explain. It's not like even she would believe the truth.
I'm pretty sure Shiyu, out of all of them, would believe the truth.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I'm pretty sure if you said, hey, he was raised in a military facility and has superpowers, like, she'd just lose her gourd.
I think she'd probably not believe Tomomi for a little bit, and then be like, wait, you're serious?
Yeah, there'd be like that, wait, are you shitting me, or are you just making fun of me?
Senpai, stop making fun of me.
Yeah. Basically, Senpai, I want you to notice me, not make fun of me. Oh, wait, you're noticing me? Oh, shit.
Yeah. I don't have to worry about Spork, though. I've done what I can for him, and even if he's an idiot and a damn kid, he's made it this far on his own. Wherever he is, he's probably still looking for his own answers and solutions. Just like I have to focus on finding mine. I take a look around. I've really done this place a favor if I do say so myself. Spork's house used to be so empty, and now there's nice furniture in every room, my artwork hanging on every wall, knickknacks and trinkets on every shelf, little houseplants in generous pots on every windowsill. Most things here were bought secondhand or received as gifts, but that doesn't matter. The only room that's anything like lacking in ornamentations is Spork's room. It's got an empty dresser and his futon, and that's it. By the way, I converted another upstairs room that happened to be empty into my own bedroom office. House sitting for a guy friend is all well and good, but sleeping in his room would be crossing several lines.
Hey, I just moved into your bed.
Yep. And besides, I prefer beds to futons anyway. I take a look around. Anyway, I've done good work here. I've taken things I've already had, things I've gained, and new things I made or obtained, and used them to make this empty old place into a different kind of masterpiece. Memory-powered is still maybe not the way I want to put it. But staying here, I feel solar-powered, wind-powered, water-powered, earth-powered. Like if I had to be self-sufficient, I could survive on the world around me and nothing else. On second thought, I still want enough electricity to charge my MP3 player. Music's still closer to a necessity than a vanity for me. I take a last look around. I've already taken pictures, and I'm going to be able to leave this place to Shiyu to look after while I'm gone. But photographs aren't a match for human vision, so I burn it all into my eyes and my memory anyway. I take a last look around and go to pick up my suitcases and leave through the door.